just like that. If you have any issues with gluing on the tips, gives it a nice taper look. Also can be shaped to be coffin. Let me show you that again, how easy it is to put these tips on, okay guys? Very easy. See that? I'm going to use about half of that. You can use full, but I'll use about half. See the color? So that much glue. See that? And about half of this. Oop. This one's a little bit more difficult because the nail bed's a little bit different, but see that? It just glues right on. You don't have to worry about it bouncing back up on you. There you go. You use a nice, the tip area is very nice and durable, so it won't bend when you cut it. For a lot of you guys that have issues gluing tips on, this gives you the guide, because a lot of you guys are actually gluing too much. See that? Half of that light area should be all you need. You don't need that much glue. See that? And because it's thinner right there, it won't bounce and flex back up onto you, so that you won't have, it won't come up. And these are slightly curved, which is very aesthetically pleasing. You can do actually a whole length of this, and it'll be an XL, and it'll be it won't be as curved as the other curved tips. A lot of people have been waiting for these tips to be back in stock. The reason why it took me a while, because I had to revamp the tip a little bit. I wanted them to make it a little bit more coffin also, so people that can use from taper and coffin. I'll show you guys. See that? Just a little bit of glue. It's all you need. A lot of you guys are using too much glue. More glue does not mean it's gonna dry faster. Actually, more glue means it's gonna dry slower. Okay? Thank you for the stars, Maria. Hey, received my package a couple days ago. Hey, what'd you get? So these are now available. They're the taper natural, and it comes in clear also. For those that you guys like to do encapsulation. Yeah, see that? I kind of gauged how much I need to put on. I think half is about all you need. And when this is thinner, actually later after I put the tips on, I clip it down and everything. I'm gonna actually remove most of that anyway. So you get more surface area for your nail bed, for your products to bond. Not the tip. The tip is just a free edge. See how nicely these goes on, guys? Minimal glue. Very minimal. Hey, Tandy. Hey, Corinne. Do you ever do sculpt extension? I don't. That's not my specialty. I don't do sculpt. But I will have someone that will be going live on this page. One of my team members that maybe specializes in sculpting. And when I find him, and then you guys will be able to see them do it. See that? So nice and simple. Okay. So people that are having issues with, tips not staying on or not glue, you guys adding more glue. No, more glue does not mean the tip's gonna dry fast. The glue's gonna dry faster. It's the opposite. Okay, guys, please keep in mind, glue needs oxygen to dry. The minimal as possible, like that. If you put too much, it's gonna just stay wet and it won't dry. Okay, just like that. And these tips actually fit really well into the nail bed. You guys look at that. It fits really well onto the side walls. And you have a nice little coffin taper here. The reason why these are universal, because I had them made so that it's kind of tapered. I mean, when you do your application, you can actually do a little bit more, sculpt your powder a little bit more here to make it more taper. Or you can just bring the sides in and make it more coffin, and then use a hand file to finish off your coffin look. Just one more time. The amount of glue I use, very minimal. That's all I need. See that? Now you guys are using way too much glue. When you press it down, the glue is gonna fly to each side. And if you don't have enough, you add more. I'd rather have you add more, just a little tiny bit more, than have too much. Too much means it's gonna cover up your nail bed too much, okay? Look how nicely these goes on. Just like that. Fit the tip on. Dab of glue. not even 2 seconds, and it glues right on. So those of you guys that have issues gluing tips on, this is why I had the tips made this way. Look how nice and straight these are. You actually can do a whole set this length, and it'll be nice, and it won't be as curved as a lot of times you guys see. A lot of curved tips are really curved, and the curvature is too much. It's not. It'll take away from the shape. And there you go. That's just how I put on tips. Not really that much work. And these are my natural tips. Comes in natural and in clear. So we're gonna clip this down a little bit, not too much. And this, when you clip down the tips, it actually takes away from the curve, okay? So once you clip down the tip, it kind of reduces the curve a little bit. So if you guys do medium nails, these will turn into more straight tips.
A little shorter. A little shorter. Yeah.
You can see how the curvature is now reduced a little bit. Now you have a nice natural compared to this. You see? So for a lot of you guys that are doing medium sets, medium or long sets, I don't really recommend you wasting your straight tips. These nice natural tips are just the way to go. And they clip pretty easy because they're nice and sturdy. Make sure everything is same length. And there you go. I'm gonna clip these relatively longer, just so I can give myself some room for error. And this is pretty much the prep process. I just only prep with a nice drill bit. I didn't really do anything too crazy, unique. You know, a nice sanding band, medium, fine. Rough my surface area, prep my surface area, put the tips on. Notice I cut the other hand relatively longer so I give myself something to gauge it by. You don't want to just eyeball it and then, you know, cut too short and have to go back through and fix every other nail on the other hand, okay? So once you have one hand perfect, you're gonna go to the other one and make sure everything is perfect. Take your time, give yourself some room to make mistakes. You can always remove the tip. Cutting down shorter, you can never add on more, okay? Or you can, but you have to take up the whole nail, so it's more annoying. I don't recommend it. So I always cut longer on the other hand on purpose, just so I can go down and measure, go finger by finger, okay? And there you have it. That's it, guys. Really nothing to it. See, now I can actually go through with a sanding band. See, now I don't have to shape anything anymore, so I'm gonna go through and just remove any excess. This gives me more surface area on my nail for my products to bond. You see that? And because this tip is thinner, it's so easy for you to go through and just remove it. You see that? You won't have any heat, any friction on your client's nails. You know, you have to drill too much. It just comes off so easy because it's half the thickness of the actual tip. So it's just very, very thin plastic. Now that you have everything on already, you don't have to worry about it, as long as because we're about to do application. So as long as you've already shaped or filed whatever you want to do, then you're able to go in and just boom, you know, do this. It's the last step before you do application. Because once you put on your acrylic, this tip doesn't matter how much it's hanging on by. The acrylic can be the bonding between the free edge and the tip and the extension and the nail bed. Okay? See that? Any excess, just remove it. Majority of the time, you're removing at least mainly all of it. It's just hanging on by a thread, and that's just fine, you know. Because all this thing is. It's just a free edge for you to have a nice platform to put your acrylic on. It's not supposed to take up your whole nail bed. Okay. And once we've done that, I'm gonna dust off a little bit, and we just apply our primer. And then we're gonna get straight to the application. See that? Now that you have released that, your primer is going to coat most of the nail bed. It means that you're going to get adhesion in all majority of your nails. Now, if you put that tip up too high, where's your primer? Where's your bond, or whatever you're putting on? It's going to be on top of the plastic tip. That's not how that works. It doesn't bond on top of the plastic tip. It bonds on top of the natural nail plate, just like that. C-curve tips and your 14 brush. Oh, nice. So we're just gonna go in right into application and do a nice nude. This is a nude I mixed myself because I ran out of a lot of nudes. So bear with me. So I don't know the formula. You can't buy this nude. I know you guys are gonna ask. I'm gonna use my monomer. Hey, now did I ever see my gel paints? I can't use them. Your daisy nails are so cute the other day. Can't wait to use. Yeah. Thank you guys. Just catch up on some comments here. For primer, I use a very cheap primer. It's nail supply store primer. As in, like, it comes in a big ass ounce. I just use non-acidic. That's all. My stuff when it comes to primer is very basic. So now this length of the nail, it has a nice curve. I don't really need to build an apex, okay? I just really got to really get my acrylic on there, and I really just got to get it nice and even, and then the apex will build itself because her natural nails has a nice curve to it. And the tips has a nice curve to it. That's one of the perks. Don't even ask about the nude. I know you're gonna ask. I mix it myself. Nails is short, you don't need to build an apex, okay guys? A lot of people, this is about a medium long. A lot of people make that mistake and they try to build an apex, and what happens is your nails start looking bulky and you don't have, it looks thick because it's short. You need to get a nice and even coat, even application. That's all you need. See that? That's all you need. No apex needed, okay? It's one of the perks of using natural tips. We build apex because sometimes we use straight tips and the surface area is too straight, so we have to build the apex. But with this brush, I'm using my nail depth 14 brush. These are crimped by me. As long as I get a nice, good application on the nail. Even distribution of powder means that it's not wet, not cold. Wait until it's nice and dry. That means that when I move the powder through, it's going to be moving through even consistency. That will take on my natural apex from the natural nail. I'm not moving it when it's wet. You see that? I was just nudging the powder back up. And a lot of you guys are doing sets this length. Now you guys are not doing long, so these tips are definitely very good. I prefer, before I ran out of these tips, I prefer using these all the time when I do like nice coffins or taper. I don't really use my my stiletto clear tips unless I really need to use like a long set, you know, something like that. But anything like medium to medium long, you definitely can use a natural tip like this. And be able to get that nice apex. All you need. These nails, they don't need that much apex because they're shorter. They're not long, okay? Client not gonna break it, I guarantee you. That I move the powder through very nice and even, very slowly while it's drying, because it'll give me a nice consistent thickness throughout the nail. I don't want any spots to be thicker and thinner. I want it nice and even. I know that if I go even, that means it's going to take on the nail plate and it's going to have that nice apex for me already, a nice natural apex that's already there, genetically there. Can you do a 2-ball method on her nail, please? Oh, yeah, sure. You're gonna do 2 bead, you just do it just like this. Usually I don't do 2-ball methods for nails like this because I don't really have to build an apex, so I just make sure the powder stays there. Make sure I shape my acrylic. This is how I shape. This is where I get my shape from. Took my time to do my shape here. It was a little bit wet, that's why I didn't want to work with it too fast. So now it's more dry, then now I'm able to work through it. Then I'll do my second bead. Let it dry a little bit. Yeah, if you do 2 bead method, just cut down the amount of powder you use per bead. And that'll be it. Just took me a little bit longer because I have to do 2 beads, but I can just do 1 bead. Usually 1 beading with these shorter nails. See, same result. You see what you did wrong now? No problem. Usually give it 3 seconds for the powder to kind of cook. We are using EMA, sometimes it's a little bit runny with pigment powders. Is that? I'm not gonna move this powder yet, it's a little bit runny still. Give it a few seconds and then I'll start moving it through. Just like that. Shaping is there. That's 1 hand down. You should probably get a hand down application in less than 20 minutes, 25 minutes easily if you're doing 1 bead method. Give it 1, 2, 3. See how it marbles? That's when the powder lets you know, okay, I'm ready. Don't put on too early or it'll be too runny. With my monomer, I always, the now dead monomer, you always give it a 3-second rule, okay? You can do 1 bead on the pinky now. Hey, you gotta start somewhere. Start with the pinky and work your way up. 1, 2, 3, boom. Set the marble. If it doesn't marble, it means that it's gonna be a dry bead, but you can still work with it, okay? It means that I don't have to wait for it to dry. See that? If it marbles, it means that it's gonna be a little bit wetter. So this gives me the ability to just know that I don't have to wait for it to dry, so I'm gonna work quicker with it. It means my ratio went from 60-40 to 50-50. You see that? How the other ones won't marble because I'll shiny, but this one stayed. It's because that lets you know, okay, you gotta work a little bit faster. You have time. Okay, I'll just show you this again with the 60-40 ratio, okay? 1, 2, 3. See that? That marbles, I mean, it's gonna be a little bit, gives me more time. A lot of you guys probably have done nails and probably never even watched the bead. What happens the first 2-3 seconds, right? It's very important to know what's going on there. That'll let you know if the bead's gonna be dry or wet, okay? So don't just slap it on there and then have it flood or dry up on you on the bead, because you don't know how much time you have to work with it. Get the shape down early, okay? There you go, see that? It's saying, hey. Nothing's better than when you know your ratio. It's all muscle memory. Just like that. It's really fundamentally down to just technique and knowing your ratio and just understanding, you know, how to move, when to move the powder. A lot of times when we do acrylic, lay in acrylic, a lot of the mastery of acrylic is not really just, you know, being able to pick up beads and working with acrylic. It's being able to understand what goes on with the powder and the liquid and the ratios, almost like numbers, you know. Almost like you have to like learn it like book-wise before you execute it. Sometimes when we try to just execute something, we won't work the way we want it because we don't understand what's going on. So you need to, a lot of nail techs now, you need the proper understanding of the products. It's not that I get questions, why is it drying up so fast? I mean, why is it running? There's a reason for that. It's a science. This is not like, you know, something that's not science. This is chemicals. This is reactions. So there's a science behind it. So every why that you ask, there's an answer. You just gotta really break it down. Okay, if it's drying up on me, it means that maybe I'm gonna clean my brush now. Maybe my ratio's too low, so this and that. So there's always a means to it, okay? If you just sit down and put it on pen and paper, or you start to understand, okay, that's because I might have too much liquid, that's why it's running. I don't have enough liquid. I'm putting it on too soon. You know, give yourself, like, time yourself. And once you understand, that's why when in my classes, I always teach theory. We make you guys learn theory. We're like, okay, here, we're about to do theory. I'm gonna start explaining to you how to shape this and all this and that. And not even letting them touch the acrylic yet, the first hour of class, because they don't understand the theory behind it yet. Okay, so we're just gonna do some quick shaping here, because you know how to shape my acrylic already. It's gonna be a nice taper. So earlier it was more coffin. When you cut down, it's more taper. And anytime you do application, it's gonna bring up thickness on the side a little bit. So if you wanted to do the whole length earlier, you could have just done the application like I did and build it out a little bit more, and then you'd be able to make a nice taper. So these tips that I have that I just brought back in stock, they're the best for any medium, long taper, or even long taper, XL also. So generally, I already did my application, my shaping my application. This hand filer is just for me to make it nice and crisp. So it takes me about a few seconds to shape a nice taper, okay? Taper means that both sides are in like that. A lot of times nails this short, you can't really do coffin. It won't look good, I don't think. I think it needs to be a little bit longer, but a nice taper, actually very nice too. It gives it a nice petite, not like a square, like a boxy, but very nice slim. And it's almost like a coffin, and it works really well with certain designs. See that? It should just take some quick strokes of the hand filer. This hand filer is not for you to use to shape, it's for you to bring your shape out more crisp, okay? Because the more you shape, the worse your shape gets, believe it or not. Because you can always remove the shape, but you can never add back on, okay? So be careful, be mindful. If you're spending 5 minutes on one finger, you're definitely gonna be over filing. You're gonna be ruining your shape. And you'll be going to the point of no return. Can I have use them on beauty effect and use again of one person? Gilmaris, if you want to, you can soak them in barbicide and a water solution and let it dry out, and you use it if you want. I have a whole pack of these. I have a lot of these, so I use one client and I'll be done with it. But I don't really shape that much. But I'm not sure. I don't believe in throwing these away though. And there you guys have it. One hand down, done. Shaping. Everything you need. Put it up. Just crystal the shape a little bit this way. I mean, if you want to throw them away, buy them the cheaper ones. I have multiple brush sometimes. I just want to leave them in acetone. Oh, you do not want to leave them in acetone. Who was that? Emily. Don't do that. Acetone will ruin your brushes. Please don't. Acetone's like a last minute resort. Like if you already like had some really acrylic kicked up in there, you have to use acetone. But acetone it strips. So it'll strip the hair on the brush from the sheen, so you won't have that nice gloss that helps the brush not have acrylic stuck to it. So don't do that, please. Don't leave them in acetone. Your brush gonna come out looking like it's hung over. Hair all over the place. Going this way and that way. Even find some clients, if not throw away. Yeah, you can do that too. Give them to your clients and they can bring them back next time. Hey, this is yours. These are expensive. I hate to see you guys throw away. Well, I mean, like they're not that expensive. They're like $1 each or something like that. But still, you know, it'd be a shame to throw away a good file. Like you see, I barely use mine. You know, I go through and use it just a little bit, and I barely use it. So I'd hate to just throw it away after every usage. Shape in. And sets like this, you can go under 1 hour very easily. Design and everything. Just to, she's doing this a nice simple French with a pink. Let's make sure the shapes are nice and crisp. Now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna take out my 5-1 sharp bit. I'm gonna do everything with this bit right now. Do the cuticle work, and also I'm gonna go over the natural nail. Yes, seasonal file you got. I'm starting now. Excited. Oh, welcome to the nail industry. So the free edge, I want to get it about 1.5 credit card thickness. But this process, I'm mainly going to be focused on getting these cuticles nice and flush, because I want to make sure that my client's nails don't lift. Okay? And this comes in sharp and safety, and also medium or fine on my nail-shop.com. This is definitely, this bit is the shit, so definitely get yourself one. I'm not drilling too much because remember, I don't have a lot on here. Just gonna go right through and rough it through. My main concern is this cuticle area right here, making sure it's nice and flushed in. So when it grows out, it won't lift on my client. Just like that. Get the sides. Get it flushed in. There's no excess sticking out. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this, just the weight of the handle. Because my application was smooth already. If I put pressure on it, it's going to eat into the acrylic, and then I'm going to have to actually go back through and even it out. So I don't want to do that. So that's very nice and clean. The shape is still intact. Hey Edgar, thank you for the stars. What's the name of the bit? This is the 5-in-1 Erica Jackson. This is the fine and this is the sharp. And if you're not comfortable with using a sharp bit, you can buy the same bit in the safety. And it'll do the same job, except it's just a little bit more safetier. Less, it's the edges are kind of rounded out a little bit. Not only a little bit, so that you don't cut the client. You're less likely to cut the client, that's all, okay? A lot of my students buy both, one to practice with the safety, and then when they get more comfortable, then they bust out the sharp, get that crisp cuticle area that we see here. Just like that. I use the sharp on my family. You use the sharp on family, somebody you're not scared to cut. Damn! I guess blood is thicker than water. Just talk to your family like, are you for me? You blood relatives or what? Like, you trust me? Just use just the, the weight of the drill. It'll go through the surface and it'll let you know where it's gonna be sharp or where it's gonna be thick or not. And if your application is good, it should be just smooth. It just goes right through and smooths everything out. Very, very nice feeling, like almost ASMR, I feel like. This is all about muscle memory. The way I'm drilling is how I've been doing it for years and years. So my hands are used to it, so I'm consistently gonna do the same thing over and over and over. Just like that. There you go. It's right through. Generally, you gotta be careful with this too. You don't want to overfile also. You drill too much, you're gonna make it too thin. So make sure that you be cautious of how much you're drilling. I generally just use the weight of the drill and just run it through. I like to smooth everything out. Yes, my application is probably smooth, but sometimes the drill actually will bring in the corners, the sides, give me a little bit more, crisp look. So then we're finished there. See that? The structure's still there. apex, everything is still there. I'll dust it off, I'll show you guys later. When I first used it, I did not breathe both hands. It's not that bad, Crystal. It's not that bad. Guys, after a couple, 5, 6 sets, this actually becomes very seasoned. It won't be as sharp as you think it is. Yes, when you first get it, it's going to be a little bit sharp, but when you use it, the edges kind of get worn out. And you have that like happy medium where you have that nice sharp bit that you can go right into the cuticle area and not have to worry about taking out too much acrylic, flushing the cuticle right there up to the, the nail here. Not that bad, okay? She said she didn't breathe. Yeah, sometimes that's what you gotta do. Don't breathe. I got it now, I can breathe. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Huh?
They want to know if tomorrow, Tammy wants to know if tomorrow she could come.
I'm not here. I'm leaving tomorrow morning for Atlanta.
Okay, I love you.
Very quick, maybe a few minutes. I always move the client's fingers where I need to go. You guys see that cuticle? Yeah, let me zoom in. The reason why I don't clip down cuticles you see that? Because I need them. It's my buffer. Why? A lot of people want to do manicures before they do their necessities. Oh no, it's gonna make it tender. You see that? I need that whatever percentage cuticle on there. It helps me, give me a buffer zone. I can drill around it and it removes it and it cleans. It gives me that flushness. Look at that. See? Tell me that was not satisfying to see. Y'all probably like, I need to go back and watch this again when he saves it. I need to see that again. And I'm not like I'm leaving a lot of cuticle. I'm leaving some. So that when I go through the drill, it gives me like a, hey, oops, you could have cut her, but instead you just trim her cuticles. You love that part. Look at her. She's like, Emily's like, yes. And you get me some popcorn. Fast forward to that part. Watch it over and over. Yeah, let's do it. Let me show you one more time, okay? And I'm not trying to tell you to purposely cut the cut them, okay? Just that cuticle is there for a reason. Gives me able to go around the cuticle area without having. And for a lot of you guys don't know what flushness is, you see that? Natural nail bed right in that channel there. Here, I'll show you one time. Look at that cuticle, see that? And then go right at an angle. And you see that natural nail bed? I'll know when I get there, I'll see it. So you gotta stop when you do that, okay? You don't wanna go too much into it and you create that ring of fire around the cuticle area, okay? And that just takes time, practice. You start feeling it. You have kind of like a feel when you know when you're drilling into acrylic and when you're not drilling into acrylic. So you kind of take back a little bit of pressure. The speed I'm going at is about a 10 speed. I run a little bit faster. I recommend you guys go 7 to 9. Don't go as fast as me unless you guys have the technique down and the stabilization down. You don't want to run too fast. I like going fast because I want to just get in and out. Nice crisp precision. If you're very precise, you can run as fast as you want because you're just boom boom in and out. Just I don't like to spend too much time in the cuticle area. I want to just get in and out. That's why I run a little bit quicker. But 7 to 9 is what I recommend for a lot of you guys that are just starting out and with the safety bit and such. Okay. And don't get me wrong, I've cut clients before. Okay, I still cut clients to this day. It's a mistake. You know, it's an accident. Okay. Don't get traumatized by it. Move on. Okay. No one ever stops cutting clients. There's seasoned nail tech. I've been in this for 15 years. I still cut clients. Okay. Sometimes the clients move. Sometimes you're in a bad angle, and whatnot. And we are finished. Let's see, that session is taking me what? 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Gets a nice buff. Pink, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you do your nails so short?
Honestly, I haven't gotten close in a while. That's why I haven't came. So this is long to me now.
Yes, once in a while I'll do a shorty set. Just buff. Get rid of excess. Okay, wash your hands. I'm going to use a pink gel paint to paint her nail, a pink French. That's rose gold. I'm gonna use this as like a baby pink for my gel. Oop. Okay. I use this one. It's a very nice pink. That pink and nude will go well together. And for those of you guys that are purchasing this gel, please keep in mind these containers are over 5 grams, and they're only filled probably a little bit over half because they don't want to fill it to the brim because it gets sealed. And if they fill it to the brim, it's gonna explode. That's why. It's not that it's not enough in there. There's the right amount in there, 5 grams each. It's just that they're not filling it to the brim. That's all. Okay.
You know this one way people do it?
Huh?
I want to show you this other way I see people do it. The French.
It's just French.
Yeah, but like, you know how people do it like this? Like that curvy part?
You mean like you want this? With the half French?
Yeah, like, hold on. Like this.
Deep French.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you're getting.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just gonna do like a line.
No, I'm gonna paint this in and then I'm gonna fill it in.
These are graduation nails.
Finally graduating?
Mm-hmm.
You're letting your ass out of high school?
You have an appointment.
Yeah, there's still be 2 of them. Yeah, just tell them to wait. So we're gonna do a deep French. Let me use my brush to paint in the excess. It's a gel paint, so it's gonna be very, very thin and pigmented. And a lot of times when you use gel polish, it actually makes the nail, you lose the shape because it's, you have to do multiple coats. So once I paint this in, I'll be able to go through a detail. Remember, it's very pigmented, this paint. Just want to show you guys what it's like. Just go through and add my finer details here. My liner. This is my stripe, my liner brush. 20 millimeters. That's how I do deep French. So I'm going to go through and draw in every one of these the same way. I'll go back through with the details. Here you guys go. Very pigmented. I won't lose any of the shape from the nail. That's one of the biggest issues when we're using gel polish. The gel polish will go to the side and you lose the shape. This way, it won't lose the shape because it's a very pigmented gel. Just gonna go through and redo all this. I just start the same spot on each side, make sure it's nice and symmetrical. This will be able to give me, this will be able to let me know that every nail I do is going to be the same length on each side. It's important you do this because it makes sure that the French is the same deepness. Sometimes a lot of people do it and they just don't pay attention and they're all different length. It doesn't look good cohesively when you take a picture. So same spot each time. I'll fill in what I can fill in. You see this gel is very pigmented. I'm using whatever I had on here and just gonna go through and paste it through. As long as I get my pigment on my tip. Saves me time, so I don't use my liner brush to do all that, okay? Okay. So now go back through my finer details. Certain details I can't go through with my paint tip brush. The other one was my oval 3D. It's important to make sure the sides you don't compromise the shape on the side, okay? We're trying to do deep French. We gotta go all the way up to the deep into the cuticle area. Yes, you can cut powder, you can do this with powder encapsulation. But then again, when the client comes back and they need to fill, you have to drill everything off. This gives you the ability to drill out the polish, redesign that nice nude you have on the bottom without having too much work for yourself, okay? It may seem complicated, but if you get the technique down, it's very, very simple. As you can see, this paint doesn't move. So I can go through and do the whole hand without worrying about the paint moving around before I'm cured. That's one of the biggest issues with working with gel polish, is that you can't just do the whole hand. You have to do one and cure it, because gel polish is very light. Consistency is not like this gel art paint that I have. It will move to the corners, to the sides, or this and that. This paint is very thick and pigmented, so it won't move at all until I'm finished and what I want to do. Then it'll move. So now if I go back to my pinky, it stayed the same. Now she just go in and cure. This is my liner brush from my Nail Dad brand. It's the liner. This comes with a 10 on the one side, a dual brush, and a 20 on the other side. So same thing for this side. Gonna draw in my frame. Make sure I go to the same spot each time, so I know how high it goes up. And once you get it down, it's actually very simple to go through. Deep French. It just takes a little bit of time, and if you try to rush it, you're definitely not gonna get the result you want. Okay, this is one of those things where you can't rush. A lot of times you get to this end time, you're like, oh, you want to rush it, you want to just get through it. Nah, you gotta be careful, because this will make or break your set. Okay, so you might have done a nice set, but if you don't do this design right and it doesn't look good, you just wasted your time. Okay, so take your time and finish strong. You can take it out. Let's go through, paste this in, get as high as possible. So after this, I got 2 back-to-back sets for you guys. Some more fun sets. So if those guys got nothing to do today, you can join me. Those guys are going back to work. See you later. And tonight I'll be packing up and I'll be flying out to my Atlanta class. Finally, tomorrow. Like that. This just saves me time, guys, to going through. A lot of people will do it with the paintbrush now. This is my oval 3D, the brush side of it. We have the brush in very nicely. And for the ones I need to go in detail, I'll go with my liner brush here. Take my time. You can also wipe on the sides a little bit before you cure. Make sure this. If you don't have gel art paint, you have regular polish, make sure you do 1 finger cure, regular gel polish. 1 finger cure, 1 finger cure, okay? Because the gel polish won't stay like this. If you don't cure, it's gonna move and you're not gonna have that crisp lines like you originally wanted. See how quick that I did this hand, less than 10 minutes. So once you get it down, technique is actually very simple and easy. It's all in this right here. If you're gonna control your liner brush or not, which is, I guess I can't say it's easy because not a lot of people know how to do art yet or paint yet. That's why it's important for you to know how to polish. Polishing techniques will give you the ability to have a steady hand, and you'll be able to do art and designs. I want to kind of a little bit wide for me. I'm just gonna bring it out a little bit. There you go. Yeah, I don't know why it felt a little bit wide for me. I mean, narrow. There you go. That's better. Finish off here, cure, then top coat, and we should be good to go. You want it shiny, right? Not matted?
Mm-hmm.
Use my top coat. This is a medium thickness top coat. You'll be able to just give me a nice thin coat over the gel here. Not too thick, okay? Do too thick, it's gonna lose your shape. Also, top coat can also make you lose your shape, okay guys? Not just polish alone, top coat does it also, okay? Very nice thin coat. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I know a lot of you guys have had this problem before. This gel, it cures very shiny, smooth. So you put a top coat on, it's gonna leave little craters. Like it's gonna try to shrink. Here's a little trick, okay? Do a thin coat of matte, because matte will take care of that. It'll counter the smoothness. So a lot of times you guys are having this issue with little craters on your nails or something like that, or the top coat shrinking. It's because the gel polish is very smooth. It's not tacky. So then the surface would just, so you do a nice thin matte, and then you just put top coat over the matte. The matte has a different kind of consistency, so it bonds better to the shiny, the smooth surface, and then you'll be able to put the top coat on top of the matte, and the matte will be really nice. Or you can buff and make sure that the polish is not shiny. I don't recommend buffing because you might buff into the polish, so matting it and then 2 coats of thin matte top coat, and that top coat will be just as good, okay? Because I think a lot of people ask me that question, why the top coat shrinks. So how long does someone say? How long does it take you to do this full set prep included? If I don't do lives, I can do under 45 minutes. Under 30 actually. I've done sets in 25 minutes on live before when I just didn't talk or show people stuff. It takes me about 10-15 minutes to do application, 5 minutes to file, 5 minutes to prep, put the tips on, and once I'm done with application, I just drill cuticle work and I'm done. I work a lot differently when I'm not live streaming than when I'm live streaming. When I'm live streaming, it's a little bit difficult because you gotta answer questions, position camera. So one of these days I just go live and I won't say anything. I just work like how I usually work, and you guys will be surprised. Actually, I've done that before. Switch. See, now it's matte, and you can actually go through with the top coat, and you won't have the issue with the polish shrinking anymore. This is a no cleanse top coat from my line, it just dries right away. You don't have to wipe it down. Remember, we want a really thin coat. I don't want to lose my shape. Okay. And there we go. Just medium taper set with deep French. Generally, ideally, you want to stay under 1 hour with this. The only time-consuming thing is, one more time, go ahead. The only thing time-consuming really is this part right here. I'm putting in the deep French. And if you do color powder and you color black, it's even easier. Okay. Okay, switch. And there you guys go. Finish. Hit over with some. Ooh, that's a lot of cube oil. The taco is actually really, 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 really shiny.